This is the Tuesday, May 24th, 2016 meeting of the Hanson Board of Selectmen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public announcements and upcoming meetings. The Water Department has announced a water ban. Outside water is prohibited. The Hanson Business Network will hold a new Business 101 event on Wednesday, May 25th, in the Hanson Town Hall Selectmen's Meeting Room at 6:30 p.m. A presentation on the basics of business startup by the representatives from the Small Business Administration, SBA. If you are interested in attending or having any questions regarding this event, please contact Laura Fitzgerald Kemet at lfitzkemet@gmail.com. This event is free to attend and open to all aspiring new or existing business owners. RSVPs are strongly encouraged for this event, as we want to be certain we are able to accommodate all who wish to attend. On May 26th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m., the Panther Education Trust, PET, will hold the Spring Martini Tasting Food Pairing event at Cameron's on the Green. This will be an opportunity to try samples of different martinis and learn how they are made while you enjoy small plates of carefully selected food pairings. A few tickets are still available. Tickets are $50 per person and can be purchased at www.panthereducationtrust.org or click on Buy It Now PayPal button at the top of the page. Please contact Laura Fitzgerald Kemet at lfitzkemet@gmail.com with any questions. The Memorial Day Parade will be held on Monday, May 30th. The events begin at 9:45 a.m. at the Indian Head School, procession to the Town Hall for a reading of the Gettysburg Address, then proceed to the Fern Hill Cemetery. Recreation Commission is hosting a family camping weekend, June 3rd through June 5th. All cabins have been sold, but tickets are still available to the Saturday events. Tickets are $10 and include dinner for all the activities. For more information, go to www.campkewanee.com. There are vacancies on the Recreation Commission, Finance Committee, and Historical Commission. Applications for appointment are available online at www.hanson-ma.gov or the Selectman's Office. Upcoming meetings: Open Space Committee, Wednesday, May 25th at 7 p.m. Final Plymouth County Hospital Reuse Committee, Wednesday, May 25th at 4 p.m. At the police station. Parks and Fields, Thursday, May 26th, 7 p.m. at the fire station. Final Plymouth County Hospital Reuse Committee, Wednesday, June 1st, 4 p.m. at the police station. And that includes our announcements and our upcoming meetings. I now ask everybody for a moment of silence to honor the memory of Steve Roy, very committed Whitman Hanson Community Access Executive Director, who passed away recently. He served the two towns of Whitman and Hanson faithfully and with great skill and professionalism over the past 30-plus years. A moment of silence for Steve. Thank you. We had an election on Saturday, and we will now have the official swearing in of our newly elected officials. We wish to congratulate them on behalf of the Board of Selectmen and the citizens of Hanson. So all those who were elected, who are present here, would they please come forward for our ceremonial swearing in by our town clerk.
I'm not going to do it individually if you don't mind. at all.
Okay, you, Kenny Mitchell, Michael Jones, Chris Howard, and Gil Motto, Don Howard. Solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you that you are elected to the best of your abilities, in accordance with the bylaws of the town and the laws of the Commonwealth.
I do. I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Next on the agenda is the reorganization of the Board of Selectmen, but before we reorganize, I would like to read the following statement. I have been proud and honored by my colleagues on the Board of Selectmen to have been chosen twice during the last year and a half to serve the citizens of Hanson as chairman of the Board of Selectmen. It has always been my belief that if you are elected as a selectman and willing and qualified and feel comfortable and knowledgeable enough to serve and to learn in that capacity, you should be given the opportunity to do so. I felt that way when I turned down the nomination for chairman 2 years ago, when elected in 2014 and nominated instead David Sopa, who had never had the opportunity to serve in that capacity. And I feel the same way now. I also have felt no one person should either dominate or have a lock on this position. Therefore, I am announcing that I will not accept a nomination for the position of chairman this evening, but prefer to just be a non-titled member of the board for the next year. For the person who is elected, please feel free to reach out to me at any time for advice and any questions you may have about town government. I'm only one phone call away and willing to help in any way and in any capacity I can. And with that said, I will take nominations from the floor for the chairman of the Board of Selectmen.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
I'd like to nominate Selectman Jim McGann to be chairman of the Board of Selectmen.
we have a nomination on the floor to elect Jim McGann as chairman. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Do we have any further nominations? Okay. Hearing none, I will move that nominations be closed. Do we have a motion to nominations be closed? Moved by Mr. Howard.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. We have a second, the nominations be closed?
Yes.
Position, second. All those in favor? Okay. We'll now vote for the position of chairman. One nomination, Jim McGann. All those in favor of Jim McGann for selectman?
Can I vote for myself? Yes.
Yes, you may do that. Okay, and so you are now officially elected the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and I will
So is that a 5-0? Is that what that
5-0 vote.
5-0.
5-0? You abstain?
Okay, we'll turn the gavel over to you, and congratulations.
401.
Do we,
We need to take nominations for vice chairman.
okay, thank you for the heads up. First of all, thank you. I'm honored, and I'll do the best I can, I promise, guys. And I want to say, too, Bruce, thank you for you did a lot for this position and for this town, and I recognize it, I know you have. There's a lot of hard work, and it goes to everybody on here, it does. But I'm grateful for what you've done. You've taught me a lot, and I'm proud of you. You did well. You did really well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
I'd like to nominate Kenny Mitchell for vice chair, if that's possible.
Second?
Second. Okay.
Actually, I can't nominate him,
No.
can I, as
Oh,
chairman?
no,
I
you can
forget.
ask for a,
I can ask for, entertain a motion to, excuse me.
I'll make a motion to nominate Kenny for vice chairman.
Is somebody seconded?
I'll second.
Okay, with that, do we have to close the nomination as well? Is there anybody else who'd like to run for vice chair? All right, then we entertain a motion to close.
I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
Let's put it to vote. All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you, Mary.
No, vote for Kenny. You closed the nominations, now you want to vote for the vice chairman.
Vote, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. Okay. So now I want to put to, do I have to put it for vote, or, right? Okay. Put to vote for Kenny Mitchell for vice chair.
Second?
No, we already
No, no.
have
Oh,
a
already
motion
a
and a second.
motion
Now
for
we want
Kenny
to-
for vice
now we
This is
want
just
to
for a
put it to
vote.
I know.
All those in,
I
you know
get
what?
confused on this.
I'll try to, this is where I didn't learn a lot from it. So I'll dust myself
It'll be
off.
all right.
All those in favor, all
Kenny
those in
Mitchell,
favor, for Kenny
vice
Mitchell as
chairman.
vice chairman, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0, Mary, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Get clerk.
That's right, now we need clerk, because I can't do both positions, right?
Right.
So we need a clerk. Do I have a nomination for a clerk on this? I know it's a tough job, tough to fill.
I'll nominate Don Howard as clerk.
Second.
That's what I need, another one.
Donnie, are you good? Are you good with it? You're taking it?
Title.
I can print.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be there to help you with the minutes if that's the case too, all right? So I'd like to entertain a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of closing, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. No one against. 5-0, Mary. I'd like to entertain a motion to,
Call for a vote.
Call for vote, I'm sorry. Call for vote to elect Don Howard as Selectman Clerk for the town of Hanson. All those in favor? Aye, 5-0. All right, let's quickly move to...
Congratulations, Don.
Yeah, really,
Yeah,
Don.
thanks, Kenny.
Yeah. Does he get a pin or something? No?
We're gonna mail it to him.
A pen.
A pin. All right, moving along in our agenda is the town administrator's report, which I give to Mr. McHugh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few things I'd like to update the board on and the community. In relationship to a question I believe the board had at the last meeting regarding our ability to move forward on the Complete Streets grant to the next stage, should the Board of Selectmen so choose. I did confirm both with contacts at the state and with Todd, our accountant, that we can indeed move forward on that. We don't need any special articles, any special votes, any special authorization. The Board of Selectmen already has that authority, much in the same way it has the authority to expend Chapter 90 monies. So we will, as appropriate, we will move forward with that. On Wednesday last, I had a meeting with two representatives from the Attorney General's office, along with staff from both the town of Hanson and the town of Whitman, in regards to a abandoned housing initiative. Basically, what the AG's office is offering to do for us, if we have particularly problematic homes in the town of Hanson, with the cooperation of the zoning enforcement officer, make sure that the codes that need to be enforced are clearly delineated. And we're unable to get any response, chiefly from lending agencies that may have taken over a particular property. The AG's office will get involved. They will press a court, the housing court, I believe the housing court for Hanson actually is in Plymouth, not in Brockton, to appoint a receiver who will then clean up said property, and basically the payment for said property would come out of the bank. So it's actually at no expense to the town of Hanson. Hopefully these sorts of instances will be few and far between. However, it isn't a service that the AG's office offers and has used in many other communities in the area, and it's a very interesting a program that, as I said, we will look at taking advantage of, mainly for health and safety reasons. I did have a meeting just today with Josh Cutler, our state representative, to introduce myself, get to know him a bit better, get him to know me. We had very general discussions about where we see the town of Hanson going in the next few years and the sorts of assistance that his office may be able to give to the town of Hanson. Again, we talked in very general terms about economic development opportunities and transportation opportunities that, of course, will have to go through the board and go through citizens' hearings and whatnot should we decide to move forward on certain things. But as I think I mentioned to the board, both in my initial interviews and I think in my first two statements to the board as your town administrator, my interest in looking at some redevelopment opportunities to bring, not only to beautify the town of Hanson, but perhaps bring in some revenue sources. So, all that will be done in a slow and appropriate manner, but his office has agreed to help in any way to make the appropriate connections with state agencies and funding sources. So I will be working on that probably for several years. I plan to send via email, so that we're not wasting a lot of paper, backup information on the community compact that I had mentioned to the board last week. My goal is, if the board is so amenable at the next meeting, to ask if it would give permission to the chairman to sign on the form that would include the town of Hanson in this community compact program. As I had mentioned, and don't want to belabor since I mentioned it last week, it will give the town of Hanson extra points, if you were, in terms of grant fundings, and would avail us of professional services, technical services from the state for free. So more to come on that. I did want to mention as well that I will also be sending the board via email a copy of what's known as the Municipal Government Act that the governor's office put out approximately 2 or 3 months ago. It's packed with different initiatives, different changes to laws, not all that are pertinent to a town like Hanson. However, there are several tools, as it were, in this legislation that I think would be extremely valuable to the operation of the town. I will, when I send this out to the selectmen, I will point out the particular ones in which I have a great deal of interest. The end result being my request, hopefully again at the next scheduled meeting, to have the board authorize me to send a letter of support to our state senator and our state representative. So again, things to come. I want to end my report with a very brief recap on the Bluegrass and the Bogs event. I did ask the health department and the police department to send me a post-mortem, as it were, on the event. I'm happy to say there were very limited incidents at the event. There was a very minor misunderstanding involving alcohol at the beginning of the event. Prior to it opening, a vendor had obviously not been fully aware that it was a dry event, and the vendor, when approached, fully cooperated. And that was just about the only matter of concern or matter of import that happened over the weekend. Everyone was well behaved. There were no other incidents. Apparently the Board of Health was very happy with the vendors and their cleanliness and their operation. The porta potties were sufficient and were serviced appropriately, and it went well. So I'm happy to report that, gentlemen. And with that, I conclude.
Thank you, Mike. Could I ask you a quick question, Mike? I know if you had time to talk to Josh Cutler, did he talk to you about the status on our the status for the highway contractor, right? The contract we have pending? Did he mention anything to you
Oh,
about
for
that?
the building?
Yeah.
I am actually playing phone tag with the gentleman, Dan.
No, he's
No,
asking about
for
the
highway
building
surveyor.
contract for the highway
That's all.
surveyor.
Oh.
It was
Surveyor.
Sitting
special
on the governor's
legislation.
desk?
That's all done, isn't it? or
Oh,
not?
no, I'll have to check on that,
Okay,
Mr.
cool.
Chairman.
He may not have talked to you about it. so-
No, that I thought you were talking about something completely
No,
different.
that's
sir.
okay.
No,
I think
I'm actually sad to say I'm unaware of that, so I will make sure that I'm,
That's all right.
Catch up on
And
that.
he didn't, and if you could, if there's one other thing too, I know he said that there might be a possible grant, I think, for the Wampatuck Pond, somewhere in the vicinity of $20,000,
And 30 for Camp Kawani.
and 30 for Camp Kawani, so I just
okay.
was hoping a status for it. This is new to you, I'm sorry.
Yes, I apologize that I
No,
wasn't aware
no
of
need
that.
to. This is new to you, so don't
But I
sweat it.
will, yeah, certainly if there's free money out there available to
Yeah.
the town, I'm
Mr.
interested.
Chairman, those were approved in the House budget. I'm not sure what's happening in the Senate. I think
Senate,
the
right.
Senate is supposed to vote on the budget either this week or next week.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? All right. Moving on in our agenda, under new business, we have the setting the meeting dates for June through December. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Mary's attached a calendar copy in our packets. And she has circled the dates. I know I know that we've been meeting almost each week since, since last year. I was kind of hoping if we could go back to a bi-weekly schedule, if that's okay with you guys. I don't know how you feel about it. I think it'll give us time to catch up on certain things as well. Obviously, if we need to call a meeting during an in-between time, we can certainly do that. That shouldn't be a problem. But I'd like to, I don't know, the dates that Mary has selected here, obviously, we're not going to, I don't think we want to meet on the 31st. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's the long weekend coming up. And the dates that they've circled here are June 14th, June 28th, July 12th, July 26th. What does the T mean?
Tentative?
Tentative, okay. And then August 9th, 23rd, 3 dates in September. September 6th, which is tentative, 13th, the 15th, and the 27th.
The
And tho-
15th, I'm sorry, excuse me. The
That's okay.
15th is when we have to post the warrant.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's down the bottom of it. I list the various reasons why I have some of these circled or squared. The
Squared.
square,
Gotcha. I'm with you now, okay. And then, which is why we would meet that, that frequently during that
Right, the
time.
13th, we'll have to sign the warrant. I'll have to post it on the 15th. The 27th would be the town meeting preview.
Okay. And then we've got the October 3rd and 4th, which is the Monday and Tuesday, right, town meeting?
Right.
And then October 18th, which, and by the way, October 4th is only if it runs over, right, Mary?
Right, if necessary.
If necessary. November 1, 15, and 29, all Tuesdays. And finally, December 13th and the 20th, which is tentative, correct?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Mary and I sat this afternoon and put this together in consideration of what you had said, sir. We had felt that there's a sentiment from the board that it wished to go back to bi-weekly meetings. And as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, we certainly can call a meeting at any time outside of these particular circled meetings, if the board so desires or we feel necessary to ask the board. So again, this is just a proposed schedule, and we obviously will do and schedule at the will of the board.
Sure. And we can obviously come back to visit it if we're doing meetings until 10:30 at night or something like
I
that.
think it's fine.
So,
Yeah, you really, Mr. Chairman, you really need the weekly meetings as you get more into the budget process.
right,
And things get more active.
okay. Which is
During the
what they've,
summer and early fall, you're probably okay going with a
Bi-weekly.
bi-weekly.
okay. Which is how they have it marked in September,
Right.
so. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the calendar with the dates that were.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been moved and seconded, open for discussion. I did that right, Mike? Yeah, all right, good. All right, since there's no discussion, I'll call to vote. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is to vote to authorize the town administrator to approve line item transfers in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 33B. Should I read into the record, Mike, this? It's a bit-
I don't think it's necessary, Mr. Chairman. Just for the public, and perhaps, I'm pretty sure the board understands this, but for the public's information, the Department of Revenue of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts allows cities and towns to make changes of basically a minimal amount between line items within the town's budget. What this allows us to do is not need to go through the processes of a town meeting to make transfers and whatnot, again, of a minor nature. So it's allowed starting for May the 15th and runs to July the 15th. And what your vote tonight will allow is for me to make those recommendations, those authorizations to the FinCom, and make those changes.
Okay. Bruce, did you want to say something? I know you said, okay. Yeah, one of the points that we pointed out was, in addition, the city council may, by majority vote on recommendation of the mayor, which this is not the case, obviously, transfer.
The second paragraph down.
The second,
For town
this is for us,
selectmen,
right?
yeah. The
which
B
is...
section.
Oh, I get you, okay, may transfer within the last 2 months of any fiscal year, right? Or during the first 15 days of the new fiscal year to apply previous fiscal year changes. I could have read that, it's just the one, why don't I read the one article? It's only a small paragraph,
Yeah,
folks.
paragraph B.
Okay? A town may, by majority vote at any meeting duly held, transfer any amount previously appropriated to any other use authorized by law. Alternatively, the selectmen, with the concurrence of the finance committee or other entity established under section 16 of chapter 39, may transfer within the last 2 months of any fiscal year or during the first 15 days of the new fiscal year to apply to the previous fiscal year any amount appropriated for the use of any department other than a municipal light department or a school department to the appropriation for any other department or within a department, but the amount transferred from one department to another or within a department may not exceed in aggregate 3% of the annual budget of the department from or within which the transfer is made, or $5,000, whichever is greater. And you know, talk about a run-on sentence, huh?
So, Mr. Chairman, once the town administrator approves it, then it would still need the authorization of the vote of the finance committee, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion for the town administrator allowed to authorize to approve line item transfers in accordance with chapter 44, section 33B.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, entertain, discussion? No further discussions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. 5-0, Mary.
Thank you.
I would note, Mr. Chairman, that the municipal bill that I alluded to a few minutes ago actually further strengthens that particular Mass General law, makes it, I believe it increases the amount that can be transferred, and I think it makes the transfer process a bit easier.
Mike, did you want us to talk, I know you talked about the community compact, did you want that vote tonight, or did you?
No,
say-
sir, no. I prefer to provide you, like I said, with a little bit more information so the board is comfortable. I'm very comfortable with it, I did it in the last community I was in, but I don't want the board to do something that...
So we have more information.
Exactly. I want you to be comfortable and well-versed in it.
Okay.
Thank you for offering, though.
Okay. Moving on to our agenda, the next item I have is an update from the water department regarding water complaints. And is that going to be you, Mr. Howard?
I'll start it off, and then Mr. Muncy can fill me in. Oh, they're right here. I know they're here. We've had a terrible time because of a water break on Pleasant Street. The break itself, somebody woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and saw it bubbling out of the street, and they never said anything. They went back to bed. I guess the calls were made to the police department because of low water pressure on High Street and some off of Route 58, I think, up on where the ground is high on Whitman Street. At that time, the police department was riding around, and on Pleasant Street, they noticed the break around 6 o'clock or a little before 6 o'clock. So they had called in a person to come in, and he was at the shop over there on West Washington Street. And I guess the police department were driving by and noticed the water and called the center, and they called, Pete was on duty, I believe, at that night. Because he just came in, because he was called to come in because they couldn't find the water break. So he just shot up there quickly and to shut off the main, which he did. But by the time he got there, we don't know if the water had run from midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock to midnight, we don't know. But in doing so, the pressure in the system dropped down to 70 pounds coming in from Brockton. Once he got the water main shut off, and of course having the water run like a spider web where the break is, it disturbed everything in the water mains, probably south of West Washington Street, High Street, everything into Montponce Street. So by the time the pressure got back up again, all the lines were filled with manganese and iron because of the movement of the water through the pipes. I know it's been a terrible thing. There's nothing wrong with the water, and it's hard to say, but when the water tank is full and the pumps are running, the water pressure goes out from the tank like a web. So the water basically going through the town is going in a different direction than what the direction is now because of the fact there's no water in the tank. And to try to figure out the flow, you really can't. But I do know Sunday, everybody was out in their yard, and everybody was using water, and again, there was a problem with water. The tank, as far as I know tonight, it's about 2/3 done. The inside of it is completely done. And they've got the old outside all sandblasted off, and they've started to do the painting on the outside. Once the outside of the tank is completed, the drying time, I really don't know. It more or less depends on Mother Nature. But once the tank is considered dry, the tank is going to be filled. And then once the tank is filled, the water department will take tests to make sure the water is good water, and it'll go back online. And hopefully at that point, the water flow will be running differently in the whole system. It's an inconvenience to everybody, I know. I don't know if there's anything else I can say, Mr. Muncy, if you have anything else you'd like to say while you're here?
Well, just some of the issues that have gone on with all the dirty water in that section of town. The water pressure fluctuates coming from the city of Brockton, and it fluctuates 20, 30 pounds. And that is it's creating different surges throughout our system from them, and it stems from them and their service flow to the city. So sometimes they have high flows, low flows, and whenever they change their flow to meet their needs, we're much closer than the city of Brockton is to their source, and we're affected, and it's really wreaking havoc in the town of Hanson.
And beside that, they've had 4 water breaks since that because of the pressure and fluctuation. Because
Every week we've had
when the
one.
water's moving through the pipe, and all of a sudden you shut it off, that water pressure builds up enormous pressures at the end of the pipe where it is. And it's what's causing the pipes to break on that. And by causing so many different pressures in the pipes, there really isn't anything you can do with it until you get back on your own system. We have 4 wells, and mainly they're all set up so that once the tank is full, the pumps are off. But then as the pressure drops in the tank, 1 well will come on. As it drops further, 2 wells will come on, so that it'll try to maintain the pressure in the tank. So all the water going through the distribution line is clean water that's in the tank, not being pumped in from Brockton. So that, I don't know what else you can say. It's something that, I wouldn't want to say a date, but have you got some sort of a date line that?
They told me today that they'll be ready to fill by the end of the week of the 13th of June. They'll be ready to fill the tank.
So once that's filled and then they test it, it'll be back online, hopefully the middle of June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Now, I noticed that, because we had received some complaints, but Chip, you also send notices out, don't you, through the email system? So if we signed on, because I've received a couple of notices,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
if residents want to receive notices through email, they can.
Yes,
Going on.
as long as they're signed on.
Right, and and they've got to
They'll get
accept it and enter, of course, their email address, they can start receiving updates. And it's not just for water, but any event that goes on in the town.
Correct.
So, well, thank you both very much. I didn't know that there were 4 breaks. I knew of 2 of them, but I didn't know 4.
We've had one every week, sometimes 2 in a week, for the last probably 6 weeks.
Okay.
There was one right out here in front of the town hall, and it's,
It's due to the pressures are changing and things are so close to that line of being broken that those little changes in pressure are causing them to leak.
Leaking problems, okay.
That if it was under normal conditions, it may not have leaked.
All right, well, thank you for the update. I appreciate it. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, my understanding is we have a couple of residents here that I think may wish to address the board, if
I'm
I'm not
sorry, I
mistaken.
thought you were.
Absolutely.
Hi, could you just stand up and tell your name and address, please?
My name is Brian Scarhard, with my wife Lorraine.
Hi.
We live at 791 High Street. I believe you have a letter that we supplied.
I also supplied this for you too. Now, if our water is drinkable, then I certainly would want to drink this. And that's what we were told. There's magnesium and iron in the water, but it's still drinkable. So would you want to drink that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, neither do I. And I don't want to do my laundry, I don't want to give my dog water. And I'm not the only one that has this problem on High Street. And somebody has a little child, baby, that needs water. So that's for you.
Well, I hope you understand, obviously with 4 water main breaks.
Yes, I can understand the dilemma that the town is in. Our dilemma is, and I explained this to Mr. Howard when we went to the water commissioner first, we just had a new gas boiler put in the house, December 4 of 2014. So it's been in for 18 months. It ran perfectly until the water, problem with the water. We've had the oil company that did the conversion from oil to gas, the same company that we bought oil from. Now, unfortunately, we don't buy gas from them because they don't supply it, but they came out 3 different times because this water, with all that sediment and stuff in it, got into the system. A high vent on the water system got stuck open, flooded the gas boiler and the electrical panel that was in the box.
Did you guys see this? That's
So
pretty, so this
I
is,
shut the system down, called them to make a service call, because there was water just coming out of the vent. It's not supposed to be coming out, it's just supposed to vent the air out of the system. It got jammed open because of that stuff that's in the pipes. They came out, I inadvertently didn't realize what I had done, I had restarted the boiler. Serviceman come up, went down, saw everything's working fine, and he says, well, here's the bill, service call. We had them out twice after that for the exact same issue, the vents. The 3rd time they come out, they replumbed it, moved the vents, so they weren't directly over the boiler. But I specifically asked them, where do these vents normally go? And he said exactly where I put them the first time. The guy that did the install back in December of 2014 came up the 2nd time and the 3rd time. He says that's exactly where we put the vents all the time. They're not supposed to do what they did. I said, okay, fine. So the 3rd time is when he come out and he moved them out off of the area so that if they do blow open again and get stuck, they're gonna leak on the floor and not on the boiler.
before you heat, yeah, and
But we shouldn't have to continually pay somebody to come out and make repairs due to that.
And then, if I can interrupt for a second, that wasn't done when the water main break on Pleasant Street. That was done a week ago this past Sunday.
That's the
That's the
water.
water.
The water that from the Pleasant Street break, or the road off of Pleasant Street, that water was literally the color of root beer coming out of the tap. And it was like that for a whole day.
was like that for 3 days.
Well,
Did you run the water too? I know we have to run the water
well,
outside.
that's
Well,
the other
that's-
issue.
That's another issue.
You tell us to turn on the outside spigot closest to where the water enters the house
Right.
and drain all this crappy water out of our system.
Who's paying
But
for
that-
water?
That
We
water
are.
meter is spinning the whole time.
No,
And my water's running down the side of the road and I'm paying for it. I understand because of the dilemma that the town's in, that they can't flush the system properly the way they want to by opening hydrants full bore and letting it go.
Right.
Which would, and Chip, I talked to Chip about it, he said that's the way we should do it. But we can't, because we're on Brockton water, so we cannot do that. But we still live with the problem on a daily basis since the water tanks have been offline.
Right.
And that, we have a $170 water bill, we have a $125 service bill, it says $175 in the letter, but that included parts on the third visit that I paid for out of pocket. So, I just wanna know if there's some recourse that we can go and have the town reimburse us for the money that we're spending because of this problem. I mean, it's not fair to us, we've been in town 38 years, we bought a house in 1978 on High Street, we have never moved. I have no intentions of ever moving. But I can't keep doing this is just, and you know, I know there was a water ban on, I've seen my neighbors, I'm not gonna say where, there's a person not far from me that had a brand new lawn put in and he's out there every night watering his lawn. I don't water my lawn, I fertilized, I put lime down, but I haven't gone out there with the hose for 2 or 3 hours and watered everything in, I let Mother Nature do it.
Right.
There's people washing cars in their driveway, I see it all the time.
Well,
That's of no concern. What anybody else does it on their property, that's on them, not on me.
right. I
But
understand.
I shouldn't have to continue to pay for water that looks like that coming out of the tap.
Right.
And I don't know if the boiler's ever gonna have a problem again. I have a brand new hot water heater, that was full of water like that.
Would a filter before you put this in the water heater help or no? If they filtered it so they wouldn't, it's just so that you wouldn't need another service call.
Who's gonna filter it though?
Well, no, I know, could they don't put a filter on it before the water goes in?
I
I'm
don't
just
believe-
saying temporary.
I don't believe there's anything that, well, I didn't ask him about that, but
Yeah,
that, the filter, I wouldn't think would put up with that kind of water going to it for very long before the filter would plug.
well, there's some pretty black stuff in here,
That's-
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, so I'm wondering if it would, but yeah, I mean, it might be worth something to mention, but I don't think, could be out of line here, I don't know if there's any recourse that could be done through the town.
So that's
I don't
exactly what
believe
the
it
board,
is.
the water commissioner said, look, we're not liable for anything.
Right,
Their hands went up and said, look, it's not our fault, we can't do anything about it, and
but
it
if
is
we
what
have
it
to
is.
run, if we have to run our hose out into the street and it takes 3 or 4 hours
Mhm.
to clear that water, which it might, because somebody said they had to run their water for 5 hours just to clear the water. Well, who's
Hopefully
paying
they-
the water bill?
Hopefully they watered their lawn with it, right, and didn't go to always.
Well, I
Yeah.
certainly hope so,
I mean, but my point is, yeah, I understand, and by the way, my water is, and my toilet bowl around the edge is similar to this, the black. You know, all three toilets. that we
I mean,
have, so-
Chip gave us some stuff when we went to the water commissioners to put it, the inside of my toilet tank,
Mhm.
because it's not glazed, it's just porcelain,
Porcelain, yeah,
is as black as your jacket.
yeah.
And he gave us stuff to put in it. We're waiting until we go away for a weekend, which is coming up, and I'm gonna put some stuff in and let it sit in there all weekend, and hopefully it'll clean the tank out. That's not a big issue, if, you know, if we can get the tank cleaned on the inside, that's fine,
Yeah,
but it's, when is this problem gonna end?
well, Chip, would it be possible? Go ahead.
I don't know, I'll just say this problem will end after the tank is back online again. It'll be the same as it was before the tank was drained.
So they're saying mid-June.
So what do we
Mid-June.
do in the meantime?
I would definitely drink bottled water. I wouldn't do anything with this,
right,
but
but
see
then
what
why
you do.
should we
for
have
it.
to go out and spend money to buy bottled water?
Ma'am, I'm doing the best I can
I know
for
you
you.
are.
You know what I'm
I know,
saying?
but
I
it's-
don't know, and honestly, I think the water department is too. I think they've been struck down with 4 different problems. I get it, and I know we're all paying for it. And unfortunately, you guys paid a bit more than most people
Right.
probably for it, you know?
My mother lives at Meeting House Lane.
Yep,
They have no problem. Absolutely no problem.
yeah, there's no real rhyme
That's
or
why I
reason.
say that the water going through the mains will go to the place that's drawing the most water. That's what happens.
Well, you would think at Meeting House Lane, there's 67 apartments there, or 68 apartments.
Yes, true, but what happens is High Street's a main thoroughfare to the town. So the water's probably doing 30, 40 miles an hour constantly, 24 hours a day down High Street.
But
Where-
wouldn't it be doing it on 58? Like
Well-
at Dunkin' Donuts?
Sure.
Well, guys,
But
I-
Meeting House
Chip,
is a dead end.
if we could be a little more formal, I hope you guys appreciate it. I would rather if you could just make sure you direct your comments through me, okay? So if you want to yell at Chip, yell at me.
I don't mean to yell.
I know,
don't mean to yell,
Lorraine,
but-
I feel bad for you,
We're
I
not
do.
here to yell, we're not here to point fingers, I'm
No, I
not
know,
blaming
Brian.
anybody on the
I
board
know.
for the
I know.
situation, but the situation exists.
I know.
And there's got to be some kind of recourse somewhere along the line.
Well,
If we shouldn't have to continue to pay out of pocket for problems created by the water.
right. But,
And I understand it's coming out of Brockton. I talked to the secretary the other day when I dropped the letter off, and I said, I understand that Whitman is flushing their hydrants. I thought they were on Brockton water. I thought they get all their water out of Brockton.
I have no idea
They,
what Whitman does.
they do.
They do?
They do
So
get
now, they have the right to flush their hydrants.
They're on a different size pipe too.
So Chip, will we be flushing pipes in that area when we're back
After the
on?
tank is
After the
full.
tank is up?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends on the town's consumption. Because right now, I cannot flush 1 million gallons a day and supply the town with 1 million gallons a day.
Right,
I don't have the capacity to do that.
right.
So, it's difficult to answer that. We can get more aggressive, but it depends on the tank and how fast I can fill it. And I can only fill it so fast.
When you flush in that area, how long do you let it go for? An hour or two? Or
It
longer?
depends, you let it run, you have to achieve a certain gallons per minute to scour the mains properly, and you let it go until it runs clean.
Okay,
So it could take 5 hours, could take a half an hour. It all depends.
okay. And right now, we have no plan in place until after?
Well, I mean, I have a plan to flush in the fall like we have been. But, I mean, when we're done with the
With the
tank and the
tank.
tank's back online,
Yep.
that's peak season, which, well, this is one of the reasons we're looking for a new source.
Right.
The water department is because we can barely keep up with the town's demand for a 24-hour day as is.
So what are we saying to these folks? Are we just telling them to hold on and wait till the tank's back online?
The
mean, what do we tell 'em?
water quality will definitely get better at that point, absolutely.
So what do we
It'll
do?
be better for everybody, excuse me, Jim.
Okay. So what do we recommend they do in the meantime, though? Do we have any recommendations in between? Because if I pulled this out of my tap and wanted to drink it, I'd be pretty hard up,
Sure,
sick, you know?
well,
So what do we do? Put filters on until? That's the only thing that they can do?
I mean, you can put a filter on, but it's gonna plug up like that.
You know?
It's gonna plug up really quick.
Well, I don't know what to, I honestly don't know what to say to you folks. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, other than possibly putting a filter on, and with everything that the way they're telling me, it looks like in June, it might be better. My guess is that it would probably be another week even after June with the pipes coming out, with the onlines coming up, right? So we're already talking somewhere between mid-June and end of June. And unfortunately, I think that's the best that we probably can do. I wish I had,
I don't think this is something that's ever happened before. As since the water tank has been there. I mean, it's
Correct.
been the most extensive shutdown
Correct.
in the water tank's history,
Yeah.
I believe. Occasionally, you're gonna have some pump problems, and you have to shut the pump down and go on Brockton Water for a couple of days or something and go back down.
Yeah.
But you've never had an extended period like
First time
this.
since, in 3 years that we've been on Brockton Water.
So what do we tell the folks in the meantime that have got to live with this? The only way to do it, I'm saying, is a filter, or filtration system of some kind.
It's hard because, you can't compensate them out of town funds because the
know.
water department is a separate entity
Yep.
established under the acts of 1916. And then that whole act was reorganized and rewritten in 1992, I believe, wasn't it, Don?
When it
Yeah.
was
And
went online.
basically, you can't take from town taxation to compensate people for the water department because the water department's a whole separate entity.
Right.
It has this whole separate revenue source through the water rates. So the water department is a completely separate entity than the town, but all you'd be able to do here is air out some of the problems
Right.
and try to assure people that,
That will get
hopefully
better.
this is going to get better by mid-June and give them some kind of hope.
Right.
I don't know what to do other than that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, because we're still paying for water we can't use.
Right.
And that's not fair to the people.
To the people, no.
Well, excuse me, but I don't think we can run new lines from any place to feed everybody in town,
We don't have the money for that.
because we don't have the pipes in the ground to do it with.
Oh, I
Some
understand.
of these pipes have been in the ground for 100 years, I believe. And some of them have been installed for 10 years prior to the water tank going online. I think there was a lot of pipes put in.
Right, but we never had a problem, we never had an issue.
I know
I
it.
mean, in the past 38 years, this is the first time we've had an issue. You know, I mean, the pipes that might be 100 years old, 15 years ago, we had nice water, we had clean water.
But I think part of the problem is the 4 breaks that we had. Obviously, they contributed to the
Well, I
issues.
understand that, and I'm not blaming anybody, but
I know.
my problem is.
What do you do in the
we're paying for
meantime?
water that we can't use.
It's frustrating.
Everybody in
It's frustrating.
town,
I can't do laundry.
everybody in the town's the same way.
Right. But I mean, my street, and I'm not blaming anybody, but there's gotta be some kind of recourse from the water department for me to pay the water bill.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and as Don points out, this is not and Bruce points out, this is not an issue that the Board of Selectmen has unfortunately purview over. However, with the board's acquiescence, I certainly can take a look and see if there's any avenues, any way that something like that could be addressed. I'm not certain it could be, as has been stated here. However, I think at this point, this board and myself really don't have any answers I think you're looking for. And I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to give you the answer that you'd like to get. But if the board would like, I can undertake a little bit of an investigation to see if there's anything that can be done. But I don't, again, I just don't want you to feel frustrated because I don't think there's any answers you can necessarily get here this evening.
And I didn't want to say that you're in the wrong department. It should be the
Right,
water
and we've
department.
gone to the right
I
department.
know, I hear you.
I know.
But
I mean, we
but I tried to hear you from what you're saying, and you make a good point.
Mr. Howard explained that they're a separate entity and they
Yeah.
From
control
us,
their
yeah.
own destiny.
Yeah,
But the Board of Selectmen runs the town.
yeah.
But that's
And
true.
his division of the problem, he can say, well, it's got nothing to do with me, I can't help you, and let it go at that. But I didn't really expect, and I don't expect the Board of Selectmen to say, it's got nothing to do with me, it's not my fault, I can't help you.
No, but nobody's ever saying that, right? Nobody here is saying that,
The way
I
the laws
promise.
of the Commonwealth are set up,
Yeah.
they are a separate entity.
No, and I
You
understand
know,
that's
that.
fine.
You're just, basically, what you're doing here is productive because you're acting as a sounding board with this board, and you're sharing the frustration that many, many other people have in this town, and that's important, okay?
Right.
So, I'm sure that the water department will, once this is over, they're gonna go back to the drawing board and say, hey, look, you know, these people have had problems, they've got legitimate complaints. Let's plan and be proactive about what we're gonna do if this happens in the future. And hopefully that's gonna happen. you know, and maybe they will come up with some solutions of what exactly you're saying here. That, you know, what do we do with these people, these poor people that are paying for water, and all the other people that are paying for water that looks like this? Can they come up with some kind of credit structure or some kind of relief, or, you know, bring in a truckload of bottled water, or can that, you know, this is something that nobody's prepared for, obviously, because nobody knew it was unpredictable and nobody knew it was going to happen. So you are serving a function here this evening, and we're acting as a sounding board. People out there are hearing you, and you're representing a lot of people that are in the same situation as you are.
Frustrated just like you are, I know. I've gotten phone calls from it too, I have, so, and I know, I think I've talked to Dawn through it, you know, and I promise you, I don't say to them, just because I'm a board of selectmen doesn't mean I don't care. I hear what you're saying, you know.
I didn't,
Would you be open to the fact, Brian and Lorraine, if we look into what Mr. McHugh said, and he'll look into see what options are available?
absolutely. I mean, if there's any relief somewhere down the line that can come across, then we're more than open to that. We're not saying that I want to check tonight for the expenses.
No, I know.
Our
I understand.
expenses
Yeah,
that are unforeseen.
yeah. You want a solution to the problem, I'm with
I
you.
want a solution to the water condition.
Yeah,
But we have a very expensive gas boiler
system, yeah,
that was just put in, that I was really afraid was,
gonna happen,
it was gonna have to be replaced again. If it, I don't know what's causing these issues.
right.
I'm not a boiler man, I don't even go near it. I don't even touch it, because I don't wanna know anything about it.
I'm not an expert, I'm really not on this, but I don't know if this would help, but you could try me, your homeowner's insurance might cover something too, I don't know.
Yeah,
But call your insurance agency.
well, you know, they're gonna say, well, there's a $500 deductible.
Oh, there you go, yeah, you're right, that's probably it too.
So,
Right.
I mean, every door you open, it gets slammed shut, because somewhere down the line, they're
Somebody
gonna
said-
say, well, you haven't met your deductible, so.
Well, even if they could pay it, then they'll probably charge you next year, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Amato?
Well, I just want to say, I've been in Hanson my whole life, better than 60 years, and been a water commissioner for a year. And the commission is looking into this. Mr. Muncy, I mean, for the last 2.5 months, I've probably spent more time with Mr. Muncy. I had my wife weekends. I mean, we're out there, Don Howard's on the phone, trying to address the situation, because it comes, it goes, sometimes it stays, it doesn't hit everybody in town.
Right.
So we are trying to address the situation to find out what it actually is doing. You know, he's taking pressure tests, he has records of pressure testing and whatnot, so the board is very proactive on what's taking place, because we don't want to spend all this 1.3 million on the tank and start filling this tank and then have a situation that's going to
Like
make sense.
this,
So
right.
we are addressing it, we're spending time, we're taking calls, you know, the phone's always at the, you know, at the water department's answering and everything, and we make ourselves available, we're out there, so we are trying to address it the best way we can.
Okay.
And water's in the pipe, it's gotta go someplace, it's just like blood in your body, you know, you got a heart, you got arteries, and it's gotta go someplace, so.
Right.
It is being addressed, but correction, we don't know right now.
Okay. Mr.
I know Mr. Amato won't say it, but Gil's called me numerous times in the last 3 weeks. His water's like the color of your jacket. And I keep telling Gil, it's just one of these things, the reverse flow of water that's been in the pipe. And especially areas where pipe goes underneath a brook. You have a sediment in there. And when the water's flowing, when the flow stops at nighttime, especially when the water's not being used, the sediment will always go to the lowest point.
Lowest point, yeah.
And then in the morning, depending upon whether it's a cloudy day, a sunny day, or a rainy day, the water usage goes up or down accordingly. And you're gonna get this disturbance of this material that's in the lines. And the only way it's gonna get out of there after we flush it. And we can't possibly do any flushing at this point
Not until after.
because of the pipes, the way they're configured, coming in off of Franklin Street and Main there at the corner and going through the system. Like I said before at the meeting, you know, I really am sorry.
Yeah. So why don't we follow up with Mr. McHugh's suggestion and see what he comes up with? I think we don't have to put it to vote, but a general consensus by the board, I think we're all in agreement. Would that be right?
We aren't doing nothing and we aren't trying to stop, we're trying to solve, excuse me, we're trying to solve the problem.
Well, I know everybody's doing their best with what they've got, and like I said, we didn't come down here to point fingers and say it's anybody's fault, or
No, I know.
you're not doing your job, or you're not doing your job. That's not our intention. Our intention is, we've incurred an expense that we don't feel we should have to pay.
Yep.
And we just want some kind of a resolution somewhere down the line of the water issue. We've never, in 38 years, we've never, ever had water like this, ever. I mean, once in a while, occasionally, you get dirty water, but you see it, you
Well, I think, Brian, it's a
work around
combination.
it.
It's a combination, it's the 4 breaks, the fact that we're going on the water tank, we're doing the water tank over, the fact that we're going
Right.
on Brockton water. So it's just, it's almost like the perfect storm.
Right,
That's kind of
exactly.
caused some of it to a point, you
It
know?
all occurred at the same time.
At the same time, right. And so we'll have Mr. McHugh look into it, and listen, I understand how hard it is as citizens to come up here and stand up here and say this. So I know this is gonna sound corny, but I do appreciate you guys coming tonight and saying something. And I know there are people out there who feel the same way.
We are speaking on
Other people's.
other people's behalf, because like I said, one of our neighbors has a little baby,
Sure.
somebody else is retired on a fixed income, so it's not like they can go out and buy bottles of water
Right.
all the time.
No. And you can't bathe in this, that's for certain, so.
No.
Well, all right, we'll have Mr. McHugh get back to you, probably not until sometime next week or even the week after because of the holiday, I think. But, somebody else have a question? I'm sorry.
I just had a question.
I'm sorry, could you stand up and say your name? Is that-
Lee Gamache.
Lee Gamache, okay.
Main Street, Hanson,
Sorry.
have terrible water problems on and off. It's random.
Yeah,
It can be clear, and then one day it's just
not.
bad.
that's where it goes to where Donnie was talking about, how it goes to, you know, if the majority of your area is turning on their water at the time, it's all gonna move in that direction, so.
And I had it independently tested. I had somebody come to my house, and he said, fortunately, it won't kill us.
Yeah,
I mean, even if we did drink it, but I don't see how anybody would wanna drink it, but if we did drink it, it wouldn't kill us.
yeah.
But,
Would it make you sick? I wouldn't even try it, but okay.
he said it's worse if you bathe in it, actually.
Is it? Yeah.
It's on your skin, it's worse than if you drank it.
Right.
But he also, because I was looking into a filter, and he suggested that I don't even touch a filter until this is over with.
Okay.
So the filter thing doesn't really work
Work
out
for
too
it?
good.
It's so fine, it's so fine, it'll plug a filter right up.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, okay.
Sometimes it's fine, sometimes, I mean,
Sometimes it's a big
I
piece.
keep a bottle, every time it comes out, I keep a bottle and I date it on there. Sometimes it's sludge, actual sludge
Okay.
coming out of the pipes. And I know we've been told to turn the outside spigots
Spigots on,
on
yeah,
to
that's right.
clear it, so it doesn't get into the house when we know it's happened.
Right,
If we don't know it's happened, we turn the water on and it's in the house.
right.
Amen.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Mr. McHugh comes up with some suggestions, maybe we can post them to the website too, Mike. I don't know if it's possible.
Well, my question is about this water band. Like, should we be running these hoses? Should we be running the outside spigots with the water band on?
If need be, yes, yes. But we've had a ban on since the day we went on Brockton, which was March 8th.
Right.
But no one's paying attention to it because the water usage is so high
Okay,
that people have forgotten about it. So coming into this weekend,
yeah,
which people are gonna end up with dirty water, I had to refresh their memory
okay.
that we do have a water ban on.
Well, hopefully we'll come up with something, and hopefully it'll get resolved quickly. Everybody say a prayer, cross your fingers, right?
Definitely.
Thank you.
But thank you for coming.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
us
you.
coming.
Thank you.
Lorraine, do you want this back or no?
No, you can have it.
Okay.
No,
Trust
we'll-
me.
We'll we'll take it.
I have another.
I don't want to drink it by accident, but yeah.
I just wanted the board to
Holy
see what it
mackerel.
looked like.
No, I don't blame you.
No,
I
yeah.
didn't even think of that. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care
Thank
now.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
Moving on
Bye.
to the next item on our agenda, we vote to accept a grant funds from the Mayflower Municipal Group for the Wellness Program. We received a memo to the Board of Selectmen from Stacy Reed, Town of Hanson Assistant Treasurer. the attached check from the Mayflower Municipal Health Group was accepted as part of their annual wellness grant program. They have funds set aside annually to be used by participating municipalities for the purpose of providing wellness information to employees. Stacy Reed applied for and was accepted to receive the amount of $224 to be used to purchase 40 informational books titled Dr. Ann's Eat Right for Life. Apparently, she will be distributing a number of these books to employees at Town Hall, Police, Fire, Water, Highway, Library, and Senior Center. They then will be distributed to interested employees on a first-come, first-served basis. And I think I want to thank her for that. I think that's
Mr.
terrific.
Chairman, this is the book.
The book?
Yes, it's a very good book. It's very, she's handing it out, like you said, to different departments. We've had an opportunity to get grants in the past through the Mayflower Municipal Group, and Stacy's pretty much taken the ball and run with it. She has us all doing a walking program where you,
We did at State Street. We got the same thing, same thing. Yeah. They give you a pedometer, right, to count your steps?
yeah, you gotta get your own here.
Yeah.
But you gotta walk and record your steps and your
Yes.
walking.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time we've actually utilized it. And so they send us the money, and with that money, we get the books. So now it's just a matter of us there's no strings attached. We don't have to do anything extra with this money. It's there for everyone. If we don't use it, we lose it. So she put some effort into this, and we have these books available. So it's just a matter of voting to accept it. Like I said, we already have the books, and then we can just be reimbursed for the,
It's about 40 books, is that
Yes.
correct? I think that's what she's got here. That's terrific. Thank you, Stacy, for this. So I'd like to entertain a motion to accept a check of $224 from the Mayflower Municipal Health Group Wellness Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Thank you very much, Stacy. Okay, next item on our agenda is the discussion and vote approval of the carnival at Indian Head School, June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I wish we had said that in the announcements, Kenny, but let's make some, I'll tell you what, why don't we put it to motion and then open it up for discussion, all right, Ken?
Okay.
So I'd like to entertain a motion to accept or vote to approve a carnival at Indian Head High School on June 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
It's actually June 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Okay, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So it starts Thursday.
Correct.
Right? Goes through Sunday
Correct.
on June 2, 3, 4, and 5 of 2016 at the Indian Head School. And this is money to be donated for the Hanson Middle School?
Yeah, do you want to vote and then have a discussion, or how do you want to do it?
No, I entertain a motion to approve the carnival.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Kenny, do you want to talk about it a little bit or no?
Yeah, sure. All right, this is a fundraiser that I've been working on. Actually started, the chairman actually called me one day about 10 months ago to get me involved when he was working with the Chromebooks for the middle school. So him and I went to a meeting, and it was, last summer sometime.
Yeah.
We went to a meeting at the school with the PTO and Bill Trainer, the principal over there, and we were trying to figure out a way where we could have a fundraiser for the kids and work smarter, not work harder, because when Jim did that Chromebook, it's a lot of work, just getting people together. So I come up with this idea of a carnival. Everyone thought it was a great idea, and I said, well, let me reach out to the company and see. Well, it was a good idea until I started calling them, and they weren't calling me back, and then they're booked. So here we are, 8 months later, the company called me last Monday and said, hey, we got a cancellation, but it's in 3 weeks. So I said, I'm not sure if we can pull that off. Never have a carnival here.
Give it a try.
And he said, well, we do everything. We pay for all the expenses, we pay for the advertising, and then here's the kicker. He said, we'll write you a check for $4,000 minimum, and it could be more depending on how successful the event is. So then I started, getting on the phone and started with, the middle school principal, Bill, and
Chairman
then
Hayes?
Chairman Hayes, well, he was probably the second or third call, and
Fire, police?
I spoke to fire, police, Chip, water superintendent,
Mr. McHugh?
Mr. McHugh, Mary, there's a lot of
The whole
people.
people? Good for you.
Yeah, so I went to the school committee last night, I got their blessing. They had a couple small concerns just about, like whether, one of them was whether or not because it's gonna be in front of Indian Head along the street, because they want to be visible.
Okay.
So one of their concerns was whether or not they're gonna have,
So they're not gonna do it on
any
the track?
fence. No.
Track area down
No,
back?
it's gonna be right on the main drag. They wanna make sure that they're gonna have temporary fencing along Route 58 in case a kid darts out in between a ride. So I found out last night that all their rides have fencing around them, and in between the rides, they'll put temporary fencing, so that will be fenced.
Fenced
there.
in.
They're gonna pay all the police details, they'll pay for the 4 days. Porta toilets, they'll pay for, they'll do all the advertising. They're gonna be actually sending me a banner
Wow.
that Highway's gonna put up on 2758. They've got 250 posters that'll be printed up tomorrow, once I give them the blessing in the morning. That'll be posted at every little store around every surrounding town, including Hanson.
That's terrific, Kenny.
You know, and the money's gonna, the carnival's gonna be sponsored by the Hanson PTO. And what we decided the other day on a conference call with them is, this project originally started with just the middle school, but because it's so late in the game to get everybody on board, we're gonna split the money between all 3 schools. The
Terrific.
McQuon School, the Indian Head, and the middle school.
That's the way to go.
So, we haven't had a carnival in, how long, Mary? It's been a while,
A long time.
a long time, so. 25
What,
years.
has it been that long, Gil?
Yeah.
Really?
It was an Indian Head, too.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody told me there was one here at Town Hall,
There was definitely one here.
yeah,
In the early,
and then there was one
Mid-90s.
at the Indian Head years ago.
We ran a total of about 8 of them, between the Hanson Lions Club, when it was active, I think we ran 2 or 3 Indian Head, and I think there was 3 here at Town Hall. And very, very good. You know, we raised a lot of money for the Lions Club, the Lions Research Foundation, so I think it'll be a good thing.
I think so too. I think the kids in the town need something like this, especially with some recent events. And I think it'll work well with the camp program that they're doing at Camp Kawani that same weekend, right? Those people will be able to actually walk down the street, go to the carnival, and then go back to the cabins and check in too, right? So, and you're helping the schools. It'll be all for the schools
There's
too.
only one thing wrong with it that I see,
What's that, Mr. Chairman?
Well-
Mr. Young.
because I'm gonna have to come down and borrow Mary's book on Dr. Ann's Eat Right for Life, because otherwise I'll be down there every night eating fried dough.
Fried dough? I like the cotton
Oh,
candy.
well, actually, what I was thinking was that we could have, Bruce, we could have you in one of those dunk tanks, so we could sell tickets for $10.
Make a fortune.
And give the money towards the schools.
There's somebody here that would buy $10 worth of tickets, I'm sure.
We could throw pies and stuff, sure. Bring your rotten tomatoes, there you go.
And the Bozo Dunk?
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be a great event. Insurance, you guys all have a copy. The first thing I said to them was, you know, we need the proper insurance. So there's $5 million coverage. The school wanted to be listed as an additional insured. So we have the Hanson PTO, the town of Hanson, and also Whitman Hanson Regional School Group listed as an additional insured. So,
That's terrific, Kenny. I think that's,
once I get the blessing from this board, then tomorrow morning I'll make the call and they're gonna take off running with this.
okay. So we've had our discussion, why don't we,
Mr. Chairman?
oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, no, it's right, Mr.
I
Hickey.
guess you can't come late.
Jim Hickey.
To a meeting, my name's Jim Hickey on Perry Ave. I just wanted to make sure I heard Mr. Mitchell correctly, that the company that's putting this on is paying for all police detail.
Yes, sir.
Because on 58, on a Friday night or Saturday, that's gonna be pretty busy.
Thursday and Friday, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was thinking the busiest times would be Friday night, all day Saturday, and Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, they said Friday night and Saturday nights will be the busiest times.
But they're covering the police detail.
Police
Yes, sir,
details.
they're covering the police details.
Porta
Yep.
potties, the whole setup, Jim.
Yep, all expenses are paid by, they've been in business over 30 years, Fiesta Carnival, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I know that police details on something like this can get a pretty heavy figure.
Yeah, whatever the police chief is gonna want for details, that's what they'll have to pay for.
Right. I think that's terrific. So did we vote on it?
No.
no,
No,
you have not. We have a motion
Are
to
there-
approve a carnival at Indian Head School. You want to?
yeah, I wanna add to that motion. I wanna, cause tomorrow, once I call them, they're gonna send over, a contract about as far as the monies and stuff we'll be getting. I wanna see if this board will vote to authorize the town administrator to sign that, after, reviewing it and looking at it with council and stuff, cause we may not be meeting again before the carnival.
I got you. You're right, we won't be.
Okay.
Yep.
So
So-
if I could get that, I'd appreciate it.
Do we have to have a second to the motion?
No,
So-
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Howard could accept that as a friendly amendment to the motion that.
I accept that.
Your second motion?
So
Second
motion by
motion.
Howard, a second by Mitchell to approve a carnival at Indian Head School and to authorize the town administrator to sign that contract.
Right.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys, thank you.
Nice job, Kenny, great job. Okay, next on our agenda, requests. This is the Hanson Rod and Gun Club requesting the use of the Town Hall parking lot for their annual fishing derby, Sunday, June 5th, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Motion to grant the Hanson Rod and Gun Club to use the Town Hall parking lot for the annual fishing derby?
So
June 5th,
moved.
7 a.m. to
Second.
11. Okay. Discussion?
Do this every
Been
year.
doing this for
They've
years.
been doing this every year, right? Before they had boat races at one time. Yeah, you guys told me more than once, so. All right, why don't we call to vote? All those in favor? 5-0, Mary. Okay, we've got two appointments on our agenda. One is the Old Colony Elder Services Representative, Mary Collins, term to expire June 30th, 2017. She's the representative and alternate to the Plymouth County Advisory Board. I'd
No,
like-
but then we need, no,
is that-
that's Mary Collins is to the Elder Services.
Oh, it's a
And then the
separate
next one is
line?
we need a representative and alternate to the advisory board, because they'll be having their meeting before we.
So is this an open position, Mary?
Right now, Mary's position is, she just has it by virtue of being the Director of Elder Affairs. But
Okay.
the Old Colony Elder Services always wants to get notification before their meeting. So we do Mary earlier than we do the regular June
Board,
reappointments.
Yep,
So
okay.
she's the representative.
She's the
She's
representative
the-
for the
okay.
town to the Old Colony Elder Services.
Okay.
So I just need a motion to appoint Mary as that.
Okay,
So moved.
Second.
Okay, open discussion? All those in favor? Aye, 5-0. And what you're saying here is that
So the next one is another appointment, we need to, from the board. Currently Dawn is the
I'll do it.
regular member, and I think maybe Jim, you were the alternate?
Okay,
so I'd like to make a motion to appoint Selectman Howard to be the representative to the Plymouth County Advisory Board, and for Chairman Jim McGann to be the alternate to the Plymouth County Advisory Board. How's that?
Second.
motion made and seconded, open for discussion? I'm sorry, Mary, I misunderstood the reading on there.
Yeah, that's
so-
okay.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0. Okay, old business, vote access license to Whitman Amateur Radio Club and Hanson Emergency Communication Group. Okay. Do we have anybody here from this? I thought
This is just the access itself.
this is it?
They just want to get on to test it to see whether
Yeah.
or not they can use it or not.
Everything's covered. This was all prepared by the,
I wasn't sure if there was gonna be any questions from the board to any of the reps for this, but.
And I didn't know if this was ready to go. We just said table it, and so I just put it back on tonight if
Tonight.
Mr. Young knows
So you want
something,
to table
do
it
they
again
want to
or
do
give
it,
them
or?
permission?
I don't think there's a deadline to this that they're
All right,
looking
vote
for.
to table it.
Motion to table?
was it all been,
Motion to table it.
was this
again.
all been looked at by town council and everything?
Town council wrote this,
Oh, all right.
and I've sent it off to the parties to review.
Our additional concern, Mr. Chairman, is Mary and I are not in receipt of any insurance information. I
Oh, I
believe
see.
that is,
Yeah.
that is spelt out in the contract, so I think that,
Okay, so you haven't heard back from them
yeah.
as to whether they, okay.
I think Selectman Howard's motion to table is well moved.
Yeah.
Could we just throw Mr. Vess another email, just reminder? And if-
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay.
All those in favor of tabling?
Aye.
5-0, Mary. Okay. Next on the agenda are the one-day liquor license, Camp Kawani, New England bartending service, Saturday, June 4th, 6 PM to 11 PM in advance. The Debbie Dunn Hanover, Sunday, June 12th, 12 PM to 4 PM, it's a shower. Kim Spainer, Boston, Saturday, June 18th, 5 PM to 10 PM, wedding. Katie Cullen, Watertown, Friday, June 24th, 6 PM to 11 PM, it's a wedding. And Ava Rothwell at Hanson, Saturday, June 25th, 4 PM to 10 PM, which is a wedding.
Motion to accept.
Motion made,
Motion made.
seconded by somebody?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. New England bartending services, Saturday, June 4th.
That's the camping weekend. They're gonna be having.
Yeah, but on the announcements, it says 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
They were only doing it for Saturday night for the karaoke and the dinner party that they're having.
Okay.
So that's the only time they're having the liquor license.
June 4th.
Is that one?
Yes, from 6 to 11.
6 to 11.
Yeah.
Okay. So Friday and Sunday, there'll be no drinking.
Division, no, only for this dinner dance.
And
Okay.
Saturday during the day, there won't be any.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussions, questions? All right, motion's been made and seconded, we'll call to vote, all those in favor? 5-0, Mary, in favor. Okay, next on the agenda is committee reports, Monpont Pond Committee.
Monpont Pond is still going on. Brockton took water from Monpont Pond for 4 days in May. They can't take it from Furnace Pond right now because of the herring are running, and they can't disturb the, they call it, effect on the environment. I think in point in time, they're gonna try to do another treatment of the pond, but they aren't gonna treat it until after June. It should be done in May, I believe, but I think the money is being involved with it, because Halifax and Hanson has been paying for it, and Brockton doesn't want to pay their share. So, actually, I can let that go. But while I'm talking here, I've been down to the Plymouth County Mosquito Control a couple of times in the last month, and they got a order from the state that the Audubon Society
It's not
said
allowed.
that they can't
Yeah, they're not allowed
Spray-
spraying for,
spray mosquitoes down at Burridge or the Cedar Swamp there. But I'd like to tell the residents of Hanson, they can go and spray on all your individual households. So if you have a neighborhood, if the people want to get together and you have a wet area that you need to be spraying, they can spray individual households. But if you get together and spray the area, the treatment doesn't cost anything, just call them the Plymouth County Mosquito Control.
okay, and they can look that up. They can, that's okay, they can Google it, right?
Yeah, they
Plymouth
can,
County,
yeah,
And
right.
it'll give them the information,
Yeah.
if there's a call.
But another thing I learned too is probably something that everybody probably should know, but when a mosquito lays the eggs, it's in the water.
Yeah,
And as the water recedes, the eggs will sit on the dry area. If it's not flooded within 10 years, those eggs, once water hits them, they can hatch.
yeah.
And the treatment that they use on it is the larvicide that they put into the water, which kills the larva. It doesn't kill anything else. So I don't think it's detrimental to the environment, and I think it should be done.
Okay.
And they were gonna have a meeting, I believe, this week, somewhere in Boston, to try to get them to release it so that the things can be done again, because they got a bigger problem down in the Taunton area that should be taken care of, because of the new mosquito breed that's coming up in this area.
You know, the Zika virus,
I
that
mean,
they're afraid of
I'm
that, and
not,
a whole bunch of,
we got enough mosquitoes now, we don't want any more. I mean, we got the West Nile virus and Triple E that that we're concerned with now, so we've got another one. So that's all I have to say on that.
I have a question. Dawn, do you know how long it takes for Plymouth County Mosquito Control to come out after you call them?
If they're not busy, they should come within the week that you're doing it.
A week or so, okay.
I think they got a list.
I
I'll put you
mean,
on.
they have a list.
Graduation party, I was just curious if I called them, do I do it a week ahead, a couple days ahead?
Call them and ask them,
Okay,
and they'll tell you.
okay. But it's better if you get a few neighbors together?
Right, well, if you're gonna spray in one area, I mean, why don't, if you're up next to a swampy area or wetlands,
Yeah,
I mean, do as much as you can, but they will come to different households and lands, so that they aren't gonna cut that out.
Right,
And
okay.
they've got a lot of trucks, pickup trucks with the same thing on it, and they can do it, so.
Okay.
that's a good
Thank you.
idea too, Kenny, especially with a lot of, the upcoming summer, a lot of
Yeah,
homes.
they're just starting to come out now.
Yep. All right, next is the Indian Head and McQuon Priority Repair Committee.
Well, we haven't met, but I have good news to report on the McCorn School. The school committee, reported to the school committee last night, I was watching the meeting, and Gail is gonna be able to do that. I think if you were watching it, Gail is gonna be able to do the plans and specs, and so they'll be able to go ahead and do the RFPs. They kept it under $10,000. So we are very likely to have that job done this summer.
This summer.
So, and they're doing the rubberized roofing. And so they're doing, obviously, just the portion of what Gail referred to as Section A, which
Cafeteria
would
and
be
gym.
cafeteria and gymnasium, which is where the problem existed. That's the original town gravel roof. So the good news is that they'll go out, and they'll go out to be able to go out to bid. The job will only take about 2.5 weeks. It's not like you're doing the Indian Head School and
That's
ripping off
terrific.
slates and, doing all kinds of work. So
Yep.
about a 2.5 week job, and the job should be done, and they'll finally
Warranted
have
and
a
everything
new-
else.
Yes.
Yep, that's terrific, and thanks to Mr. Hayes, to Mr. Sandlander, and the school committee, and this board. If I'm not mistaken, you just signed the papers tonight, didn't you?
Well, I just signed the contract, Mr.
Contract,
Chairman,
yeah.
on behalf of the
Yeah.
intermunicipal agreement between the town and the Whitman Hanson Regional School Committee.
That's good, that's a long-needed repair. It'll be good to get done. Thank you, Mr. Young. Highway Building Committee, Mr. Scott?
Yes, our next scheduled meeting, we're going to post for, will be June 6th. I wanted to give some time for Mr. McHugh to reach out to the architect to establish a little relationship with them as to what's going on with the project. And then we plan to meet on the 6th to discuss those issues.
Thank you. That's great. Hopefully, if all goes well, maybe we can get it ready for October town meeting, hopefully.
That would be ideal.
That'd be the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrific, guys. Thank you. That's a much-needed building we need, obviously. All right, the last committee report I have is the final Plymouth County Hospital Reuse Committee.
Yeah, we're meeting again tomorrow night at the police station, or afternoon, shall I say. And hopefully, between maybe next week, I don't know, we can come on with 3 or 4 different solutions that your selectmen will have to listen to and figure out what we're gonna do up there.
Move forward, right? Yeah.
It's a long process. This is 16 years worth.
I know, one step at a time, right? Mr. Young? did you
Well,
have something?
before we adjourn, could you put I think it was our intent to go over the goals this week to establish some goals for the coming year.
Okay,
So if we could include that on the next warrant.
on the next
On the
meeting?
next meeting,
Absolutely.
meeting agenda.
Sorry
You can
about
make-
that, I dropped
make
the ball on
another
that one.
That's all right, we're up to 8:30 anyway. We gotta get you out of here early, Mary.
We've got,
I need my beauty sleep, you betcha.
we've got time, too. We've got Mike under contract now, so we're good.
So we can discuss it. I had a list all prepared for tonight, but I'll just save it for next week. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not on the agenda.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so
Yep.
give everybody 2 more weeks to think about it.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made to adjourn. I need a
Second.
seconded. Motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Our meeting's over. Thank you, folks. Thank you.